My name is Dr. Dario Roberts, and I have a small but brief history in cinematography. I had the pleasure of doing my own commercials for my company. I also had the pleasure of writing a few scripts for my company as well, for commercials and just short little clips and stuff. So I think that, along with the ability to lead in my comics I have in Tokyo right now, and also the anime that's being produced, gives me a fairly good knowledge, fairly good background on being able to venture into this particular cinematography and movie aspect. The Calvary Bible Church Freeport is having a Youth Sunday, September the 28th, 2025. And all the efforts to get the young people motivated became naught. They're simply not motivated. And so when the idea of a movie was presented, they were very interested in it. Full support, full everything, excitement. And so I saw that if we could motivate a small number of kids, imagine if we actually shot the movie, how much more other young kids, other young teenagers would be even more motivated by seeing an actual finished production. We could do so much big things for the kingdom. We have not recreated the wheel. We've not reinvented the wheel with this story at all. This is a typical, and I'm sad to say, a typical Bahamian story where an individual has a dilemma, and rather than turning to God, the individual goes to the streets. The streets is unforgiving, and the individual has to then circle back to the same God that they forgotten. So it's typical. Don't lose hope. Things can get really dark, and they can get really bleak, and they can get really bad. We only measured in our worst times, not our best. And so the test of a character of an individual is what he does in his worst times, not his best times. And so you have to see what kind of character you have. There's so many morals that we can take from the story. So there's not just one particular aspect that you can take from it. There's so many different things that you can get from this particular story, because even the story of patience in regards to the mom, that's a story in itself. A story of being a good friend. Do I talk on my friend? Do I snitch on my friend? Do I not say anything? Do I say anything? There's so many morals that we can take outside the main concept, which is don't lose hope in God, don't lose faith. So a lot of things that you can actually glean from this movie. Mr. KK came in with his quartet of people, came in because I originally only had the young people to inspire them. And then we had Deldra. She went to school for this sort of thing, cinematography stuff. So we know we had the actual mechanics of how it works. We had the mechanics down pat, but the actual human resource component was in there. And so that's where Mr. Ken Knowles came in. He came in with his concept and with his crew of people who were serious about doing what they do. And so that, combined with everything else, led us to a finished product. And outside of that too, even though I would have produced commercials in the past for my company, I've never really had to do a movie. Commercials don't have themes to that per se, in that you're advertising a product or a service, and then that's it. There's no moral concept to it. There's no amoral or anything to it with a commercial, but with an actual movie, there has to be some sort of moral standing to give it substance. Without that, you're just making garbage. Yeah, when Kendall came in, that was it. And true story, I was actually praying on which cinematographer I should use. And it was him and two other people I was thinking about. And I said, Lord, I need to know which one of them. Should I contact all three of them? Should I just contact one? If I should contact one, which one I should contact? I haven't seen him in about maybe 6 or 7 years. And when I said that, I bucked him by the bank. And I was like, okay, I know who I need to be contacting. You know what I mean? I told him about the project, and the rest was history. So I'm playing Damon Briggs. So Damon Briggs he's a reformed street person. He used to be on the streets. He's run the streets. He's now in the church. He's reformed, dedicated his life to Christ. His whole mission is about trying to get young men, not so much to pull them off the streets, but they're not going on the streets to begin with. His concept and his thing is all about, I've already done it. You don't need to do it. You see what I'm saying? And those who, want to learn the hard way, he's all about trying to get them to see that this is not the way you want to go. And how do I know? Because I've been on this path before. So this is not something that you want to do. So Damon Briggs, he's the youth director. He's the person that they come in contact with when it really goes south. And so, he's able to manifest, he's able to show how powerful God is through his actions. And that, God, even though at times we forget about him, he's not forgotten about us. And so that's manifested. So, at times everyone does stuff that we just don't like. And that's fine because we're all humans. But one individual is showing real repentance, real forgiveness takes place. And then we move on from there. And he's the epitome of what that is. So David Briggs exemplifies that in that character, and that he's the only person who could literally get this person out of this trouble. Because outside of that, when you take someone's drugs in the real world, you die. But in this case here, he didn't. Not only did the fellow not die, the whole purpose was for him to get the money for his mother, and he got the money. So it's so many different takeaways from you can get from this movie. There's a lot of stuff going on. So yeah, it's really good.